Okay, today we are going to learn about how to solve equations with variables on both sides. It's not hard, but you do have to remember what to do. So an equation is basically two expressions set equal to one another. Sometimes one of the expressions is just a constant, but sometimes it's also an expression with variables in it, like this one we have for the example. So if there are variables on both sides, the first step, you are going to choose one of the variable terms to eliminate. How am I going to eliminate a variable term? And how do I decide which term I'm going to eliminate? So first thing I want to do is divide up my equation by drawing a line with the equal sign. Then I'm going to put a box around each side and separate my terms. Okay? I've got a variable term, constant term, variable term, constant term. I can't combine any like terms on either side because I have different terms, two different terms on both sides. So now my next step is to eliminate one of the variable terms. How do you decide which one to eliminate? I always try to eliminate the variable term that has the least value. So between 6x and 4x, 4x has less value. I'm going to eliminate that one. The reason I do that is because then I have fewer negatives to work with usually. And I tend to lose negatives when I'm working on solving equations, so I like to avoid that problem as much as possible. Now, is it wrong if you eliminate the other one? No, you're just going to have more negatives to work with. But I'm going to eliminate the 4x. And how do I do that? I subtract the whole term from both sides. So subtract 4x, not just the 4, the 4x. And so I have to do that to the variable term on the other side as well. 4x's minus 4x's is 0, and all I have left over here is 3. 6x's minus 4x's is 2x, and then I still have the minus 9. So that was step 2. Eliminate the variable by doing the opposite or inverse of that term on both sides. As usual, you have to do things on both sides. And then now solve as usual. So, what is my constant term? It's negative 9. My coefficient is 2. I get rid of the negative 9 by adding 9 to both sides. Gives me 2x equals 12. Then I eliminate this coefficient by dividing by 2 on both sides, and that gives me x equals 6. I'm going to go ahead and check that answer by plugging in 6 for x. 6 times 6 minus 9, and I want that to equal 4 times 6 plus 3. So 6 times 6 is 36 minus 9. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 3. 36 minus 9 gives me 27. And 24 plus 3 gives me 27. Hooray! That is the correct answer. Is it important to check your answer? Always. You should always be checking your answer. Okay, so next we have a couple more that we can do together. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to box up my expressions and divide them into terms. Variable term, constant term, oops, this is a constant term, and variable term. I don't have anything on the same side that I can combine. So I'm going to go ahead and decide which variable term I want to eliminate. I have a 12x on the left and a 13x on the right. I'm going to eliminate the 12x. by subtracting 12x from both sides. That makes that go away, and I'm left with 7 equals negative 8 plus 12, or 13 minus 12 is 1, so I have 1x, or just x. But I'm going to write 1x because that's going to help me remember that that secret coefficient is there even if I don't write it. And then I'm going to go back to my two-step equation plan. There's my constant, there's my coefficient. I'm going to get rid of the constant by adding 8 to both sides. Gives me 15 equals x. 1x is just x. So I didn't even have to do the division this time. I am going to check my answer. 12 times 15 plus 7. I want to know if that equals negative 8 times 13, or 13 times 15. Plus. I need a plus in there. Wow. Okay, 12 times 15. Let's see, 15 times 10 is 150. 15 times 2 is 30, so that would give me 180. Plus 7, and I want to know if that equals 8, negative 8, sorry, plus 13 times 15. 10 times 15 is 150, 3 times 15 is 45, so that's 195. So 180 plus 7 is 187, and then 195 minus 8, 187. They are absolutely equal, so x does indeed equal 15. Okay, my next one, I'm going to need a calculator. I paused recording and went and got a calculator. You could pause the video and open your Desmos calculator. Okay, so I'm going to erase a little bit of this here, well, that whole checking thing, and draw my line. I'm going to separate out my terms here and identify them. Variable, constant, variable, constant. Nothing on the same side that I need to combine. So I'm going to go ahead and decide which one to eliminate. Now, this is a situation where I've got 72x and I've got a negative 96x. Negative 96 seems like it should have more value because 96 is more than 72, but the 96 is negative. And to undo that, I'm going to add, so that's going to keep everything positive. It actually has less value when it's negative. So I'm going to add 96x to both sides. Again, if you subtracted 72x from both sides, it's fine. You'll get the same answer as long as you're very careful with those negatives. Okay, so that leaves me on the right, 1108, and on the left, 168x plus 436. I'm going to make sure I did that right. 72 plus 96 is indeed 168. Okay, so my next step, I've got my constant and my coefficient. I'm going to subtract 436 from both sides. Gives me 168x equals 1108 minus 436. That equals 672. And now to get rid of that 168, I divide by 168 on both sides. I put this one here because I don't want you to be afraid of big numbers. You just use a calculator. 672 divided by 168. Comes out pretty. It's 4. So let's put that back in and check it. I'm going to check it in the calculator when I'm going to write out what I'm going to put in the calculator. 72 times 4 plus 436. That's what I'm going to do first. 72 times 4 plus 436 equals, that gives me 724. And why I wrote the 2 first, I don't know. Okay, then I have the other side. Negative 96 times 4 plus 1,108. Negative 96 times 4 plus 1108. That's what it gives me. 724. So this is the correct answer. What I'd like you to do right now is pause the video and try to solve the next three on your own. Do the best you can. When you've done the best you can, then you can turn the video back on and check your answers with me. All right, hopefully you paused the video and worked on these on your own. I know that 1/2 freaked you out because fractions freak everybody out. But I hope that you tried it and saw that it really wasn't a problem. Okay, so on this first one, 6a plus 14, -7 minus what? Minus 1a. Don't forget that we have that secret one there. Okay, so I've got variable, constant, constant, variable. I've got my two variable terms. I don't have anything I need to combine. My two variable terms, 6a and -1a. Normally, I would get rid of that -1a by adding 1a to both sides, but I'm going to show you that it will work even if I do it the other way. So I'm going to subtract 6a from both sides. If you didn't do that, it's okay, just hang tough and see if you got the same answer. Okay, so subtracting 6a from both sides. I have 14 on the left, I have -7, and -1a minus 6a is -7a. Then my constant, -7, my coefficient, -7. I'm going to add 7 to both sides, gives me 21 equals -7a. Then I divide both sides by -7. Wow, my little recording thing is getting in my way. Recording thing. Okay, there we go. That gives me -3 equals a. 6 times -3 is -18 plus 14 is -4. This side is -4. -7, let's see. -1a. -3 times -1 is +3. -7 plus 3 is -4. So that is the right answer. Okay, you can either zoom to the next one, or I'm going to do this one again, only eliminating the other variable term. So hang with me if you did it the other way. All right. So again, divide up my terms. Put in that secret one so I don't forget what that is. This time I'm going to add 1a to both sides. Gives me 7a plus 14 equals -7. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides because that's my constant. My coefficient is 7. That gives me 7a equals -21. And if I divide both sides by 7, I get x equals -3, which we already checked, and we know that that's the right answer from when we did it the last time. So hopefully you can see that it works either way. It's just one way you have more negatives. Okay, next one. I'm going to divide up my terms again. There and there. I got variable, variable, constant, and variable. Looks like I do have some like terms to combine over here. And remember that secret coefficient is a 1. So 1b plus 1b is 2b plus 18 equals 4b. And now I'm going to, because I still have variables on both sides, divide up my terms again. There's my variable, constant, and there's a variable. So 2b is less than 4b, so I'm going to subtract 2b from both sides. If I subtracted 4b from both sides, that would leave 0 on the right and everything else on the left, and that's okay. 0 is a perfectly good number. So I'll show you that in just a second. But here we have 18 equals 2b. Then I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides to get rid of that coefficient, and b equals 9. Quick check, 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 18 is 36. 4 times 9, 36. Works perfect. That's the right answer. B equals 9, or 9 equals B. All right, I'm going to do it the other way now. And you'll see that it's going to work. It's going to take another step this time. So, same thing here. 1b plus 1b is 2b plus 18 equals 4b. Then I am going to divide up again. I got a variable term here, constant term here. Okay, what if I decided to get rid of the 4b? I'm going to subtract 4b from both sides. That gives me negative 2b plus 18 equals 0. Okay, so now I have my constant and my coefficient. I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. Gives me negative 2b equals negative 18. Then I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides, which gives me b equals 9. And we know from checking it before that that is correct. Either way, same answer. One way just has fewer negatives. Okay. One more. All right. I know those fractions are freaking you out. Let's divide these up. I got a variable term, constant term, variable term. Nothing to combine on either side. But if I want to get rid of, this negative 1, negative 1c over here. How do I, or negative 1/2 c? How do I get rid of negative 1/2 c? I add 1/2 c to both sides. That gives me negative 5 equals, and I've got 1/2 c plus another half c. 2 halves make a whole. That's just 1c. And guess what? One time. Negative 5 equals c. You thought that was going to be the hardest one because it had fractions, and it was the easiest because we didn't even have to do any more steps. So, I'm going to check it though. Negative 1/2 times negative 5 minus 5, does that equal 1/2 of 5? Okay, negative 1/2 times negative 5. Half of, remember that of in math means times. So half of 5 is 2.5, and negative times negative is positive. So 2.5 minus 5, and 1/2 of 5 is again 2.5. Yeah. That's not working right. Oh, because this is supposed to be negative. I knew something was wrong. Okay, so 2.5 minus 5 is negative 2.5. You can put it in the calculator, or maybe you just knew that in your head like I did. But both sides equal negative 2.5. 1c equals negative 5. That is the correct answer. Hopefully that helps you understand how to solve equations with variables on both sides. Tomorrow, we're going to put everything together and talk about our steps for solving multi-step equations.